The big task for this year is to get the hull fixed from the outside. We hope this could be achieved by good pressure wash and a little bit of paint. However, when we hauled out the boat, we discovered a very severe corrosion damage. So now we are facing a labor-extensive, very expensive and extended time in the shipyard. So far we ripped out the galley, all the interior from the saloon and underneath the aft cabin, and removed a lot of dusty old cork insulation together with some frames. Then we called in an expert who discovered a very big hole, but we decided to continue this project anyway. And while Lucas was repairing the hole, we continued with massive destruction and cutting open a tank from hell. So what's up next?
Hello, it is so good to see you again. The last video was a bit different and we were quite nervous how you would like it. I can tell you we were so happy when we read all your positive comments. It really meant a lot to us. A massive thank you to all of you. Last time we started to get rid of the disgusting wastewater tank in our fossil. So let's continue with the horrible task of removing the tank from hell. After Daniel has removed the top of our wastewater tank, we can now start to shovel out the crap.
We already established that everything where you get your hands dirty is not for me, so I volunteered to film Barbara shoveling out the crap. And much to my regret, Lucas decided to do a stuffing box on the very same day. And since someone had to film him, I had unfortunately absolutely no time to help Barbara.
And you like doing stuff like this?
No. Nah. For me it doesn't matter, but I like to weld the most. this.
Yeah. Good job. Ha. Good.
While I was shoveling out the tank in the forecastle, Lucas took care of our stuffing box in the engine room. The stuffing box is the part where the prop shaft exits the ship. It is sealed with grease and packing to make sure that the water stays outside the ship. If you want to know more about it, you can check out this video where Daniel explains what a stuffing box is and how it works. Our packing gland was always leaking, so we decided to have the packing changed. Actually, it is not too difficult to change it. You just have to get the old packing out and the new one in. However, there is always the risk that the new packing is leaking. And since repacking the stuffing box isn't that expensive, we decided it would be better if we can blame the yard if something is leaking. After I emptied the tank, the next step was to get it out of the ship. Actually, we had several ideas how to get rid of the tank. One was to lift the tank out of the ship in one piece. However, the tank sits right on the concrete and we had no idea in which condition the bottom actually is. So lifting a tank full of shit with the risk that everything breaks apart, yeah. Another idea was to pump out the tank. However, to liquefy everything just to find out the tank is leaking wasn't a good idea either. So we settled on cutting open, shoveling and cutting apart what's left of the tank. We already did the shoveling, so the next task is cutting the tank apart. That was that.
contention. I think it fell down at the aft end.
It's moving! Good news! It's not built in. But it's completely rotten through.
I know. It's completely gone now.
Last time we started a new video element, and since you liked it, we had to come up with a new topic for this video. So thank you, I guess. We think quite a lot about the whole restoration project and in which way it makes sense. A comment we receive quite often is if it wouldn't be easier to build a new ship from scratch or to buy a fully working commissioned tall ship. First, you have to consider the historic character of the whole undertaking. I know it doesn't appeal to everyone, but for us the rich history of Flying Coney adds a lot to the emotional value of the ship. I mean, it's a lot more fun to carry out buckets of rust if you know that the rust is of historic significance. Kind of. Also, there are not many true historic refit projects on YouTube. Of course, there's Leo Samson Golden with the Tally Ho project, Ship Happens with the World War II motor vessel Serinda, and Kenneth Bannon with his Dutch barge Linda. And in many aspects, Flying Coney is a mixture of all of them. Flying Coney was probably built as a sailing logger, used in World War II, converted into a fishing trawler, and finally rebuilt as a sailing ship. So that's the first point. You can't build a new ship with history. But apart from the emotional value, it's also an economical decision. Building new would roughly cost about 1.5 million euros. And a ready-to-sail, ocean-going sailing ship with a capacity of 12 guests costs you at least 500,000. Anyway, we don't have the money to build new. But to be honest, we will end up close to the 500,000 euros when Flying Coney is completely finished. But by refitting her, we can take you along this journey, we have the time to grow into the project, and it liberates us from the necessity to start a rough business right from the beginning. We can make progress in our own speed, and step by step Flying Coney will become our dream ship, and we deal only with sums of money we are comfortable with. So at least for us a project boat makes totally sense, but tell me in the comments what you think.
Finding the right packing for our stuffing box turned out to be tricky, because back in the days when our ship was built, they tended to slightly over-engineer parts. Luckily, another shipyard had one in stock, so Lucas could continue the fun task of repacking our stuffing box. Since you can only put in so much stuffing box in one video, we decided to show you only half of the process. But in the end, Lucas put in 2 layers of packing, so we are safe.
Yesterday we started cutting the wastewater, or how we call it all the time, the shit tank, apart, which is much harder than thought. I went through 12 cutting discs for the angle grinder. What makes it so hard is they placed the tank directly on the concrete. So here's the tank, and directly underneath it is the concrete. And also that's the reason why this tank started to leak in the first place. You see here all the corrosion, the rust. It's not a nice job, I can tell you that. It's not a nice job. Doing this task, we run through a lot of cutting and grinding discs, and luckily our angle grinder comes with a quick nut, and I show you how this works, and it makes changing the discs quite easy. You turn it on, wait until it's slow again, then you press that button, and then in theory hold the button. It comes loose just by unscrewing it. Then you throw that one up at the bottom. Take a new one. Press the button again. And the angle grinder is good to go, but I need to wear personal safety gear because it's a quite dangerous job. Okay, let's get started.
You have to take all of it out together. Sorry for speaking with my mask, but the problem is they put the tank in place and filled the gap behind it with concrete. And at some points here, it even looks like it's welded in place. So it's incredibly difficult to remove.
Lift it. I think it's coming loose. I think that's a good way. No.
Ich glaube, das war's.
I think you did something. Is it loose? Done?
I think
I did a thing. I did a thing. It's out. It's out. It's out. It's out.
I can tell you it was a big relief when the tank was finally out. And Daniel keeps saying that the ship gained a lot of value since the tank is out. Next up is our strengthening bar. Right above the waterline we have protective steel bars welded against the hull to protect the hull from damage. On our starboard side we had some gaps between the hull and the bar, and water could get in between, which makes up the perfect condition for rust. So we asked Lucas to weld them shut.
Just how it beats when you put your hands on me. Time goes fast, but yet so slow. I leave all thoughts, yeah, I let them go. 'Cause I'm here with you, and all I need is you.
We decided to get rid of these seacocks because we don't need them anymore, and they already welded a blade from the outside on the hull, and now we want to remove them so they can weld a blade from the inside as well. And it should be really easy because they look quite new, and I think the screws should be easy to remove. Yep. No hammer needed. I have no idea how they got that one in place. I think we have to turn it maybe a bit. Let's lose the other ones first. First one off. Think that works?
Yeah, that should work.
No. Yes. Okay. Now we can unscrew them.
Yeah.
One. Okay. First one off. That was easy. Coming off. I think they're almost new. I think they were done 4 years ago. But then I have no idea why this one is shut. I think it wasn't clean water, by the smell of it. What do you think? But I think it was coming out from the other side. But that one was open. I thought we were done with the nasty jobs.
Winter is coming, so it's time to get out the good old chainsaw again.
We are really grateful for your support. Restoring this historic ship would not be possible without you. Flying Coney is one of the last surviving riveted herring loggers and a prime example for shipbuilding throughout the last century. In her heydays, she was a magnificent sailing ship, and we want to bring her back to former glory, so that one day she can be a ship for all the people that made this refit possible. And everything, no matter how small it might seem to you, makes a big difference for us. When you leave a like or an encouraging comment, it cheers us up and keeps the morale high. When you support us with 5, 10 or even 20 euros, it really helps to bring this project forward. And we can afford to make and edit these videos. And some of you even went above and beyond. And we were so blown away by their generosity that we had to come up with an idea how to thank them. So a special thanks to William, Martin, Michael and Brent. If you want to get more involved in this project, you can join our Patreon community or you can support us via PayPal. I leave the links for you in the description. And that's all we have time for today. We are almost done with the fossil. However, there's still some interior left, and somewhere behind it must be a quite large diesel tank, a water tank and the drainage for the chain locker. So join us next time for the thrilling search of the missing parts. Or in other words, where did I left my 1000-gallon diesel tank? Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.